This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yes. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Thursday, August the 20th. Of 2026, and we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Oh, yes, infiltration and Radio Big is kind of the way to go and do the things that we get to do around here, no doubt about that. So anyways, how has the last 24 hours or so been for you? Hopefully they've been grandioso as you've been able to do all the stuff that you wanted to do, hopefully. If not, hey, we're here again today, hanging out, doing our thing. So over the next hour, because this is the hour that we do on the radio, and we do on the video, and we do for the podcast network. This hour, we'll be talking about safety in the news and safety. That's what happens during hour number 1. Now, hour 2 and 3, they're exclusively to radiobig.fm. And during those 2 hours, we talk about music and entertainment, and of course, we play some music. But during hour uno, we kind of do a collab of everything that's going on. I even bring in some professional broadcasters for them to talk about what the hell's going on inside of the world, because we need to know some of that stuff. Outside of that, well, I bring you all the news stories that we were able to compile this morning before we get into all the mess that we do. So if you want to interact with the show, you have the opportunity of doing so by going to callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, and text messaging are the options of the things to do, and then we kind of move forward. Outside of that, that's the whole kit and caboodle. Yeah, the little kits and the caboodles they used to sell together, many moons ago. So, with that being said, I do have my friends from Feature Story News ready to talk, but I just want you to know there's all kinds of weird stuff going on in the world, but don't let that bother you so much. Understand the world is weird from time to time, and we just kind of persevere and go through it. I mean, no doubt there. So, with that being said, why don't I go ahead and bring in my friends from Feature Story News, let them kind of lead us down the path, and then we'll go from there. So if you're good with this, I'm good with this, and we can go through the whole thing that we call Feature Story News, or just the news stories for that sake, in regards to what's going on. So let's go ahead and bring them in, talk a little bit, love a little bit, all the fun stuff that one can do here.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Ishan Garg. US President Donald Trump has confirmed he plans to meet North Korean leader Kim Jong-un this year, with a possible summit on the sidelines of the APEC gathering in November. Pyongyang has so far poured cold water on the prospects of talks, with Kim Jong-un's sister Kim Yo-jong saying she is not aware of any communication between the two nations. President Trump's confirmation comes as he faces criticism over his decision to cut short joint military drills with South Korea. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
To get a denuclearization deal done with North Korea would be a huge foreign policy win, a huge win for any president at any point in their presidency. But Donald Trump is currently a president who looks like a president who needs a foreign policy win. His Gaza peace deal was signed and delivered last year, but it's limping along. It hasn't really come to fruition. And then there's Iran. That peace deal remains very elusive.
Moderna and Merck have announced the first ever positive phase 3 results for a personalized mRNA cancer vaccine in melanoma patients, a breakthrough that has sent both companies' share prices sharply higher. The trial tested the vaccine Entesmeran alongside Merck's immunotherapy drug in more than 1,100 patients whose tumors had been surgically removed, and the company says it significantly reduced the risk of cancer returning. Moderna's president has said thousands of patients could benefit as soon as next year, with the therapy already on an expedited review pathway with regulators in the United States and Europe. Mitch McCann has more from New York.
This signals a rapid turnaround for Moderna, it has to be said. The company performed very well during the COVID-19 pandemic as it moved to create a vaccine for the virus, but since then its stock has mostly fallen. So this really represents what could be an optimistic future ahead. Now, these studies are going to continue before the companies decide whether or not to apply for regulatory approval in the United States as part of making this therapy more widely available.
Russia is importing nearly 270,000 tons of refined fuel from Asia through covert ship-to-ship transfers, according to shipping data cited by Reuters, a dramatic reversal for a country that has long been one of the world's biggest fuel exporters. The imports come as only around a quarter of Russian petrol stations have fuel availability, with purchase limits reimposed in several regions after months of Ukrainian drone strikes on oil refineries. Moscow has banned exports of petrol, diesel and jet fuel in an effort to shore up domestic supply,
which heard the Russian Deputy Prime Minister Alexander Novak now saying that Russia has started the imports of fuel from overseas, and we understand those could be the imports from India, for instance, where Russia is supplying its oil and is getting back the refined fuel that is good for the cars.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, with more today on the surprise news that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, are abandoning America and moving back to the UK. What is going on? Jack Royston is Chief Royal Correspondent for Newsweek.
It's kind of a surprise, but actually I've been saying that this was going to happen for months because there were a few telltale signs, one of which was that Harry completely lost all interest in America. And this happened at some point in 2024. The last time he made any positive comments about the US was back in February 2024. He was doing some Invictus Games stuff actually in Canada, and he was asked about his life on American TV, and he said, you know, America's very much his home, and it feels that way, and it's all fantastic. Then Trump was re-elected that November, and ever since then, Harry's attitude to America has fundamentally shifted. So, for example, he went on the Stephen Colbert show and, you know, mocked Trump as calling him a king, you know, referencing the No Kings protests in America. He also later criticized American foreign policy in relation to Ukraine.
But it has also become increasingly clear that the couple has found less business success in the United States than they might have hoped. And it may be that financial issues are part of their decision to abandon an expensive lifestyle in California and return to the UK, where Buckingham Palace says there will be no change in their official status as private individuals, not active members of the royal family. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
And the main news again. US President Donald Trump has confirmed he plans to meet North Korean leader Kim Jong-un this year. Moderna and Merck have announced the first ever positive phase 3 results for a personalized mRNA cancer vaccine in melanoma patients, a breakthrough that has sent both companies' share prices sharply higher. Russia is importing nearly 270,000 tons of refined fuel from Asia through covert ship-to-ship transfers. There's more from us on Twitter at Feature Story. And that is the latest Feature Story news.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy. Now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion. The book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission. The final piece of the signal. For the first time, all 3 books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month,
and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
This show is strong enough for a man, but made for a woman. But men can listen too. We don't judge.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Oh, yes, you know it. Self-implosion is a big part of what we do around here. No doubt about that. So let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the multiverse as we are 15 minutes into everything that's going on. And let me tell you, there is a plethora of things to talk about. That is for sure, as we want to make sure that we are covering all of the important information. Okay, so take a listen to this, because I guess football season is around the corner, has started preseason, whatever. So it seems like that is
overtaking
some of my news channels in regards of the stuff where we pull stuff from. So take a listen to this. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell says that he is no longer the question of whether the league will eventually have teams outside of the United States, but when. In an interview with German media, Goodell said that he has no doubt that there will eventually be an NFL team based internationally. He also suggested that cities capable of supporting an NFL franchise could eventually be candidates to host the Super Bowl. The NFL is already aggressively expanding overseas. The 2026 season features a record 9 international games, including the league's first regular season game in Australia and in France. The NFL has also approved 10 games international schedule beginning in 2027. This year's international slate includes Melbourne, Rio de Janeiro, London, Paris, Madrid, Munich, and Mexico City. The first comes in the week 1 when the Los Angeles Rams face the San Francisco 49ers in Melbourne Cricket Ground. So there you go. Also, Paris gets its first NFL regular season game when the New Orleans Saints play the Pittsburgh Steelers at Stade de France. And London remains the international football capital, hosting 3 games, while Madrid gets only its second regular season NFL game. Mexico City is also getting the first regular season matchup since 2022. The NFL has played more than 50 games outside of the U.S. since launching the international series in London in 2007. The league has also since staged games in Mexico, Germany, Brazil, Ireland, and Spain. Now Goodell says they're talking about something much bigger, an actual NFL franchise overseas. That could eventually mean fans in another country aren't just flying home while the NFL with an NFL jersey, or they could have their own home team as well. So there you go. What do you think here? I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it would suck for the international team if they had to travel to the U.S. the whole time. And it also depends on where this international team is based out of. Because if you're based, let's say Australia, and you have to play the majority of the games in the U.S., that would suck. That's like a 12 to 16 hour flight for the most part to get here or get back or whatever the hell you want to put it. So there you go. Some stuff to think about for sure. But I mean, it'd be interesting. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be. It's just kind of very odd in regards of the distance.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so police say that a man accused of burglarizing the home of the late NASCAR star Greg Biffle had a disturbing method for choosing the potential targets. Following the news of the reports of the social media posts about the highly publicized death, investigators identified the 44-year-old Terrell Williams in connection with a break-in at Greg's home, which happened shortly after Greg and his family died in the 2025 plane crash. Detectives believe that Williams spent hours inside of the house and appeared to know exactly where security cameras were located. Police say that he stole suitcases, 2 Glock pistols, tens of thousands of dollars in cash, and NASCAR memorabilia, including championship rings. Investigators also recovered an RF detector, a device that can be used to locate wireless security equipment. The case reportedly broke open after Georgia police contacted North Carolina investigators in July with information connecting Williams to the burglary. Police say that he had previously targeted homes that he knew that would be empty and use news and social media to identify potential victims. William from Stone Mountain, Georgia, is facing numerous felony charges, including burglary, safe cracking, firearm theft, possession of burglary tools, and money laundering. He's being held in Georgia without bond while authorities work out the transferring him back to North Carolina. The burglary is also part of the investigation surrounding the Biffle family. Authorities are also investigating suspicious activity involving Greg and Christina Biffle's bank accounts and email accounts immediately after the fatal crash. Investigators say the passwords, phone numbers, and email addresses were changed and a fraudulent check was cashed, and were several attempts to access their accounts. So, man, what the hell? I mean, like, seriously, that's kind of a totally weird scenario of everything going on. I mean, just think about that. Everything that I just told you in just a brief moment in time. So, there you go. Are you ready for this? I hope you're sitting, because we need to talk. NASA has captured the clearest image of a crater left when discarded SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket stage slammed into the moon on August the 5th. The rocket stage, weighing nearly 9,000 pounds and traveling about 5,400 miles per hour, carved out a crater roughly 60 feet wide and less than 10 feet deep. Bright and dark streaks radiating from the impact show how the collision blasted lunar material across the surface. The darker material came from 1.5 feet below the surface, older lunar soil, and when been darkened by the exposure to the solar winds, cosmic rays, and countless tiny impacts. The bright material came from deeper underground and had been protected from space weathering. NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter photographed the site just 6 days after the crash from about 60 miles above the moon. Getting the shots was tricky because the spacecraft travels around the moon at roughly 1 mile per second. Being just 10 seconds early or late would have put the crater about 10 miles away from the center of the camera's view. Scientists had predicted the crater between 65 feet and 100 feet wide and 16 feet deep. The actual crater turned out to be somewhat smaller and considerably shallower. The impact also became a useful test for lunar crash prediction. So there you go. Talking about some lunar stuff this morning. I mean, what a weird time. Think about this for a moment. We'll go back to the 90s for a moment when movies like Deep Impact and Armageddon were talking about how there would be something that would come from space and hit Earth, but now we're doing it the other way around. And it has to do with debris. Shit that's been left in space. And now we're hitting the moon. That gets interesting. I mean, there's no other way to put it besides interesting. So there you go. What do you think? Interesting times, right? So, with that being said, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on. President Trump is escalating the pressure on Iran, declaring that what he called economic warfare and isolation on an unprecedented scale as efforts to end the war remain stalled. Trump says that he wants the most crushing economic operation ever taken against any country, targeting the financial networks and businesses that he says that are keeping Iran afloat. He specifically called for an end of oil smuggling, cash transfers, currency exchange, ship registries, and front companies and other channels that Iran uses to conduct international businesses. Trump also warned that financial institutions, businesses, airports, and government entities anywhere in the world that provide Iran with lifeline could face tremendous economic consequences. He urged the U.S. allies to join the effort and help isolate Tehran. So what do you think here? Now, it definitely is going to get interesting the more that we talk about it. I don't look at it any other way, because how else would you handle this? It gets weird, and it gets weird quick. So there you go. So let's talk about some other things that are going on, and let me make sure that I backtrack for just a brief moment in time, because it seems like this would be important to do. Keep in mind that we talk about all kinds of different things on this show for the whole ordeal that we don't need to only talk about safety when we're doing one of these meetings. Because if you start off with that subject matter, I don't think you're going to keep people interested in what's going on. That's just the way that I look at it. I could definitely be wrong, but something tells me that you'll keep them if you kind of talk about something a little bit more topical at first.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
So there you go. Take a listen to this, because, these things don't normally happen. An Ohio man was pretty strong introduction to an adulthood on his 18th birthday. Just after midnight on August the 6th, Austin and a friend stopped at a gas station to celebrate, and Austin bought his first lottery ticket. He was finally old enough to do. He picked up a $20 scratch ticket, mostly as a joke, and it turned out to be a very expensive joke for the lottery, that is. And a $10,000 payday for Austin. His friend, who is 19, summed up the situation perfectly. This is not how adults' life goes. Austin may want to keep that ticket. His beginning luck is going to be hard to beat. So there you go. I'm just saying. Kind of interesting. That's for sure. I mean, think about that for a moment. How would you like your 18th birthday to have started that way? $10,000 in. I don't know, maybe $9,999, but we can leave that for a different subject matter. But yeah, $10,000, not bad while going forward. So let's talk about some other stuff that's going on, because it's always a good time to do that. A 29-year-old woman in the United Arab Emirates, or UAE, has officially taken tiny handwriting for a ridiculous new level. She set a Guinness World Record by handwriting 150 different words on a single sticky note in Dubai. She said that she had dreamed of becoming a Guinness World Record holder since childhood, inspired by watching other people accomplish bizarre and impressive feats. To pull it off, she had to carefully maximize every millimeter of the space. She mostly used simple 3-letter words so that she could fit 150 while keeping them readable. So there you go. I would like to see the words, that's for sure. Just to see the context of them. So there you go. What else do we got? What else do we got around here? Let's do this real quick. Colorado man got a nasty surprise while leaving the laundry room at an apartment complex in Eagle Vale on August the 17th. A female black bear, the bear swiped at him, scratching his arm. The man then tripped while trying to get away and injured his foot. A family member took him to the hospital where he was treated before recovering at home. Colorado Parks and Wildlife had set a trap in the neighborhood. Officials believe that the bear has cubs and has been rummaging through dumpsters, but a larger male bear in the area may have been keeping the female and cubs away. Wildlife officials say that the bear activity is especially high right now because of severe drought and other things that are going on. The late summer frenzy, when bears can consume up to 20,000 calories a day preparing for hibernation. So there you go. Some things to think about as we are talking. Okay, some other stuff going on real quick too. A Washington, D.C. woman named Troy went to Fogo de Chao expecting to meet a friend for dinner, only to get stood up. She was understandably upset and posted a TikTok about being left alone at a restaurant, but instead of simply feeling sorry for her, the Fogo de Chao staff jumped in. They gave her a free drink and dessert and encouraged her to head to the bar and have some fun and enjoy herself. The employees even told her, we're your date tonight. Troy said that the restaurant turned an embarrassing and disappointing night into a positive experience and made her feel generally welcome. Her video racked up 788,000 views so far, and viewers cheering her and her on and telling her that she was better off without whoever left her hanging. Fogo de Chao said that sometimes a drink, dessert, and a little kindness can go a long way. So there you go. Interesting that it was the dessert, and the drink, depending on what drink it is. Fogo de Chao is not the cheapest place to go to, which is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. So there you go. Okay. Let's see if we can get a couple more in here. A man's morning coffee routine turned into a full-blown consumer revolt after International Delight redesigned the lid of his favorite creamer. Scott McJunkin, a brand consultant, posted on TikTok in his bathrobe showing the old versus the new bottles in International Delight Caramel Macchiato. He said that he loved the old lid because it was easy and satisfying to use. The redesigned bottle has a slimmer shape, thinner plastic, and a different cap. McJunkins says that the change is a perfect example of products getting worse instead of better. His rant quickly went viral, attracting around 2 million views and plenty of people who said that they've noticed the same thing about products they buy. International Delight says that the creamer itself hasn't changed. The company says that the introduction of new bottling technology to improve production and reduce waste, which resulted in a slightly different bottle cap. But McJunkin isn't buying the idea that smaller design changes don't matter. He argues that the way the product feels and functions is part of the consumer experience, even if it gets something as mundane as opening a bottle of creamer. McJunkin says that he actually likes the International Delight and that would be happy to talk with the company, and he just wasn't someone to explain why. If the old worked perfectly, anybody thought that it needed fixing. I know. Here's the interesting part about it. We're talking about a creamer, we're talking about a bottle, and we're talking about 2 million views in regards of people thinking that this is important.
Duh.
So I'm just saying, some stuff to think about, that is for sure. So let's get into it real quick.
WTF, welcome to Florida.
A Florida man has once again proven that he's apparently normal-sized basketballs are too easy. Nicholas De Marinis, known as Nickelbuckers, broke his own Guinness World Record for the longest miniature basketball shot, launching the tiny ball into a hoop from 102 feet, 11.76 inches away. He made the record-setting shot on July the 4th, beating his previous record of 101 feet, 8.47 inches, which he set just a few months earlier in March. Demaranis is no stranger to miniature basketball records. In September of 2025, he also set a record for most consecutive miniature basketball shots, making an incredible 232 straight shots. His unusual accuracy comes from years of competing nationally in Pop-A-Shot, the arcade that players fire mini basketballs into two hoops as quickly as possible. So there you go. I guess world records and these things seem to be important as we are talking. So there you go. Anyways, 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so maybe it is time to do that thing that we do around this time right now.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, you know, it gets into main story time, and sometimes my brain likes to go into some other things that I would like to discuss, but then I also look at it and go, maybe we should stay on track on what is important, and maybe we should stay on track on what is going on, and maybe we should just stay on track in thinking about things that we need to endure. And let's use that to go forward with this. I want you to sit back for a moment and think about some things. Now, I don't know where you hang out inside of your organization. And when I say hang out, take that with a grain of salt, because I mean hang out from the standpoint of, hey, how do you hang out? In regards of where do you work? What department are you in? That kind of stuff. The reason that I bring this up today is because I want to reference this in particular. And this can apply to pretty much anything, but apply this right now if you're in the safety department. If you are in a department that is considered safety for the organization, there's this weird thing that happens. And the weird thing that happens is the following. We tend to battle everything that is an external change that wants to be done to the safety department. Now, think about that for a moment. Everything that someone wants to change that's external from the safety department. And here's where it gets weird. Because for the most part, and I'm just saying the most part, just depending on how the culture is inside of your organization, the safety department is not the most loved department inside of the organization, unless something's needed. Then that becomes something entirely different. But if you look at it for just a brief moment in time, if you look at it and give it some consideration, you are aware that most of the time, people only come to the safety department because something has went wrong, or there needs to be some level of a cutback. I'm sorry, but I'm just telling you from experience. Now, my experience can be entirely wrong in regards of what I've experienced, but it can be entirely different than what you've experienced. But let's just use this as a hypothetical in regards of what's going on. So here's where I start getting kind of weirded out. Now, I will tell you that one of the organizations that I worked at was kind of a pretty big organization. They used to give the people that were in the safety department, we'll call it a safety car. And it was a safety department car. So if you worked in that department, you got to take the car home, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, there were some cuts that was being done. Some budget cuts. Now, let me explain this for a moment. These cars were nowhere like brand new. And if anything, it almost looked like those old sheriff cars. Like if you think Dukes of Hazzard style, that's kind of almost how those cars looked. So it wasn't like you were going to take these cars and either sell them, number one, for some crazy amount of money and get that back, or that you were going to repurpose these cars for anything. But essentially, these cars got cut back. And not that it was ever kind of like a job perk in driving this thing, because people were going to spot you miles away before you actually ended up going anywhere. And I bring this up today for the following reason. These cars serve the purpose to drive around and go check on different sections that need to be checked into. So these people would drive around. They would take the cars around, blah, blah, blah. Now, these cars got told inside of this organization that they were going to be cut back. The cars were no longer going to be part of the gig for the people to use in the safety department. Okay? Got it. Some people were so pissed off about this that it was mind-boggling to me. Now, this was a reference that came from the higher ups in the organization. And I remember having one particular gentleman fight so hard for this in regards of having this vehicle, that it was so important to the job that he did, that this almost, I will say, put him on this list that nobody wanted to interact with him because it was such a difficult thing about this dumb car. Now, listen, from what I understood, this was not his sole means of transportation. So let's just make sure that we're clear here. But this gentleman was so upset about it that it became an issue. And this was the hill that he chose to die on. It wasn't a change about department structure. It wasn't a change about what was going on within the organization on how to improve safety or even overall operations. It was a change that was occurring because the company wanted to limit the amount of risk that they had going on. These cars getting older, them stop servicing them. Now listen, if the person had to use their car, their personal car, for anything, they were paid mileage. Kind of how it was discussed during the job interview for the position. But this car was something that became available, that was given in regards for them to use, and of course, with the understanding that the car would essentially be changed out. Well, changed out essentially meant that the car was being taken away. So here's why I bring this up today. Enduring inside of your department, enduring inside of your organization, when you take a look at some of this stuff and you kind of go through the whole gamut, do you ever look and go, is this the right hill to die on? I understand enduring and trying to make things work when you're limited on the amount of resources that you have. But really, is the car the deal breaker? Is the car going to be the thing that breaks everything apart? Listen, I understand certain perks with the job are important, but I don't know. It's not like it was your car in the first place. I would say if you're going to die on a hill, which is the hill that would be worth dying on in regards if you had to take a look at some of this stuff? And that is where it always gets confusing inside of these things. What is the hill that's worth dying on? And would you be willing to take the risk for something that you deem important or maybe not that important?
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author J. Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com/one. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Pop quiz, hotshot. During a heat wave, what's more important, air conditioning or air guitar?
Is it air conditioning?
Air guitar. The answer is always air guitar.
Okay, here we go. 45 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Thursday. Yeah, this right here, this is a band called Go Hawaii. Song's titled Daydream Kanzai. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. Yeah, give it a whirl, man. A lot of stuff going on inside of the multiverse. There is no doubt about that. Man, I have to tell you, I get some new music in and I don't want to stop it. I have to tell you, I've probably spent the last week and a half to 2 weeks listening to music in this style. Yeah. All because of some movie that I've been, I guess, secretly obsessed with. We can get into that later. Maybe we'll talk about that during hour 2. So there you go. Yep. So we'd like to thank Go Hawaii for this one. No doubt there. And let's continue moving and grooving real quick about some other things that are going on inside of the worldo. Okay. So I have to tell you, normally, under normal circumstances, right now, I would be telling you, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will tell you in my lifetime. And we kind of go through that and all that kind of fun stuff. But today I want to do this slightly different because, you know, I always think it's important to have these discussions. But I want to show you something today. We constantly talk about To Write Love on Her Arms, and we talk about it as TWLOHA.com. I'm going to bring up their website if you're looking at the screener today, just for the sake of doing so, because I think it's important for us to do this. So as we are talking, I want you to take a look if you're on the screener here, and I tell you all the time that there is events that they put on. And if you're taking a look, there's this thing called the QPR Institute. And QPR is going to have several sessions of this, so this is why I'm trying to show you this. It's called QPR Suicide Prevention Virtual Training. And if you look at it, this one that's happening on August the 25th is a virtual training that you can attend. And they are having this on the 25th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. They're also having it on September the 1st at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, September the 8th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Or excuse me, September the 3rd, I said that wrong, at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. They're also having it on the 9th. That one's at noon Eastern Time. On the 15th of September, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, I'm bringing these up because here's what it consists of. And if you're looking at the screen, this is what it says. QPR stands for Questions, Persuade, and Refer. The 3 simple steps for anyone can learn and help save a life from suicide. Just as people trained in CPR, the Heimlich maneuver, this helps thousands of lives be saved per year. People trained in QPR learn how to recognize the warning signs of a suicide crisis and how to question, persuade, and refer to someone to help. So, here's the thing. Attendees must be 18 years of age. This training is a ticketed event, $20 to cover the cost of the training material, and is distributed upon completion of the session. This is a virtual training, and it will be that you'll need to use a device that actually has Zoom capabilities. So there you go. 8 attendees are the minimum requirement per training class and will be maxed out at 25 attendees. For more information, you can sign up at twloha.com and go into the section that says events. And there's several QPR trainings about this. I will tell you, we talk about this information all the time because I think that it's so important to discuss. So, twloha.com. Go there, take a look. QPR training. I think it can be life-changing if this is definitely something that you're interested in learning about and moving forward with. No doubt about that. Anyways, with that being said, let's continue talking. Let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about what the hell is going on with the Motivation Minute. Let's do that now.
The Motivation Minute.
Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Nathaniel. Maya Rudolph said, "I like comedy as a group sport." That's funny. But it's also a good way to look at what she did on Saturday Night Live. It's not just one person telling jokes. It's an ensemble cast that works together to create humorous situations that bring laughter. Well, hopefully. There have been seasons of SNL that were amazingly funny. There have also been seasons that have often come up short on the laughs. Sometimes it's the writers. Other times it's the cast. And sometimes maybe it's a little bit of both. It seems that their success has been steadily going up and down over the last 50 years. But imagine how hard it would have been to make every skit funny and to have every guest host knock it out of the park. Probably not possible, but I think they've done very well.
The Motivation Minute.
This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
The murder trial of a former gang leader accused of orchestrating the 1996 killing of rapper Tupac Shakur has begun in Las Vegas.
Prosecutors told jurors the shooting followed a beating involving the defendant's nephew and was an act of retaliation. The long unsolved killing now moves into a courtroom after decades of speculation. Liam White reporting.
A federal judge blocked the Trump administration from abandoning plans for a new FBI headquarters in Maryland and moving the agency into a Washington building instead.
The court ruled the administration lacked authority to discard the congressionally approved site and redirect project funding. The decision clears the way for planning around the Maryland location to resume. Kevin Sanders reporting.
A vessel traveling through the Strait of Hormuz was struck by an unknown projectile, damaging its engine room and causing at least one crew casualty.
British maritime authorities reported the attack while monitoring the route, where commercial traffic has already been sharply disrupted. The latest incident could further discourage ships from using the strategically important passage. Gary Beck reporting.
Iran says the Strait of Hormuz will remain closed until Washington meets conditions from a disputed interim agreement, deepening uncertainty over one of shipping's vital routes.
Iranian officials demanded an end to port restrictions, oil sanctions and military threats before reopening the waterway. The dispute threatens energy supplies and keeps pressure on governments seeking to restore safe commercial traffic. Chris Anderson reporting.
Wall Street fell as technology stocks sold off again, pulling major indexes further away from recent record highs, while rising oil prices added pressure on investors.
The broader market decline extended a losing streak following last week's highs, with the NASDAQ falling more sharply. Higher energy costs and geopolitical uncertainty continue to cloud the economic outlook. Kyle Norris reporting.
A student in the southern Philippines killed another student during a school shooting that was live-streamed before the attacker took his own life, officials said.
Authorities said the attack was the country's second school assault in less than 2 months. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. ordered an investigation and called for measures aimed at preventing further violence. Lawrence Keller reporting.
The United Arab Emirates says Iran launched 2 ballistic missiles toward the Gulf nation, with one falling in territorial waters and another landing outside them.
The Defense Ministry reported no immediate Iranian response and said it remained ready to confront further threats. The incident adds another flashpoint as tensions spread beyond the waters around Iran. Benjamin Wright reporting.
A federal judge has allowed the Trump administration to end deportation protections for more than 5,000 Ethiopians who have been legally living and working in America.
The ruling removed the last court block after a Supreme Court decision limited challenges to ending the protections. A separate constitutional claim alleging discrimination remains before the court. Jessica Oakley reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
What do guys like besides pizza and morning sex?
Jay Allen in the morning.
It's so bizarre and unnatural.
It's all good on Radio Big.
Oh, yes, it's all good and unnatural is what they said. So there you go. Let's continue talking about some things that are going on inside of the world, though, because that's just kind of what we do. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 1896, dial telephone is patented. In 1939, the first black bowling league is formed, the National Bowling Association. Let's see. In 1955, the first airplane to exceed 1,800 miles per hour. That occurred. In 1971, the FBI begins covert investigation into journalist Daniel Shore. Let's see, what else we got? In 1982, Don Lever becomes the first captain of the NJ Devils, or the New Jersey Devils. So there you go. In 1990, George Steinbrenner steps down as the owner of the New York Yankees. And in 2017, Jerry Lewis died at the age of 91. Those are all things that happened back on the date that I referenced. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Don King turns 95 today. Connie Chung turns 80. Jimmy Pancrow turns 79. Robert Plant turns 78. Al Roker turns 72. Joan Allen turns 70. James Masters, 64. Fred Durst turns 56. Amy Adams turns 52 today. And Demi Lovato turns 34. So there you go. There's some birthdays that are going on today. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know, because that always seems to be important. President Trump has put the brakes on a planned 50% tariffs on many Canadian imports, delaying the new duties for 3 days, just hours before they were scheduled to take effect. Trump says Tuesday night that the U.S. and Canada had reached a deal, although the agreement still needs some finalization in regards to the writing. Also, in some other news, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are reportedly preparing to move back to the UK within days, 6 years after relocating to the U.S. The couple are said to be returning for an extended period, with Archie and their other child expected to attend British school. They reportedly live in private, non-royal residence and won't resume working royal duties. King Charles was reportedly informed of the plan by Harry on Sunday. So there you go. Also, President Trump is expected to nominate Dr. Heidi Overton, a White House policy aide, to lead the Food and Drug Administration. So there you go. And here's some other news. Here's last night's winning Powerball numbers. Jackpot was $48 million. It was 10, 21, 58, 61, 64. Powerball was 17, and Power Play was 2. So there you go. Also, if you need some words of wisdom for today, let me give you some of those. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline shows up every day and gets the work done. And if you need some advice for today, for minor cuts, apply crushed geranium leaves to stop the bleeding. So there you go. Anyways, that's gonna round it out for this morning. We will be going over to radiobig.fm for the next couple hours or so. If you want to come and hang out as we talk about the world of music and entertainment, we'd love to see you over there. If you don't want to go over there, that's perfectly fine. You can hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. If you go over there and hang out on Safety FM with him, he will be doing all the stuff that he does. I'm going to tell you, if you want to get into consulting, that is the person you need to talk to, especially in this space. Anyways, with that being said, that's going to sum up our time together. I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.